Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Ifah. For the introduction, oligopoly is a form of market structure that considered to be middle between two extremes of perfect competition and monopoly. Oligopoly is also a situation where a few large firms compete against each other, which is each one of them selling a homogeneous or heterogeneous product. This shows that there is an element of interdependence in decision making of this firm. An oligopolistic market can also describe the situation where a firm dominates the industry. Companies in the oligopolistic market can also have a variety of behavior that make it difficult to have a one single model. Some of the most common model that can explain oligopolistic production and pricing decision include the cournot model, Stackable Model, cournot model, BEEB3013 model, and the competitive market theory. Thus, oligopoly is an abridged version of monopolistic competition. That's all. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and hello everyone. I will present concepts and theories of cournot model and stackable model. First, cournot model. Cournot model developed by Augustin Cournot, who is French mathematician. The firms produced the homogeneous products. Each firms assume that the rival firms will hold their output fixed. So after that, the only decisions each firm needs to make is how much to produce. The firm's profits maximizing outputs depends on how much it thinks other firms will produce in output decisions. There are 4 assumptions in this model. Cournot consider duopoly market. There are just 2 firms and no other firms can enter in the market. The firms are identical and the products also identical, which means the homogeneous product. The marginal costs are identical. The firms set their output quantity simultaneously, which is how much to produce in choose quantities. Next is a diagram 1 show price determinations and profit maximization in the cournot model. This diagram shows when firm 1 produce 30 units while the firm 2 produce 50 units. Suppose firm 2 produce 50 units expected by firm 1. When firm 2 produce 50 units, the residual demand curve is D50. Which is the market demand curve shift leftward by 50 units. The residual demand curve is curve trace out relationship between market price and quantity, the firm quantities when other firms choose hold their output fixed. In this case, it's 50 units. Assume that firm 1 marginal cost is constant, which is $10. The market price will be $30. Firm 1 maximize its profits by producing 20 units when at point when marginal revenue and marginal curve is same, equal. This output is the best response of firm 1 when it thinks firm 2 produce 50 units. Next is diagram 2, cournot model, reaction function, and the equilibrium. X-axis is production of firm 2, y-axis is production of firm 1. First, if firm 1 expect that firm 2 will produce nothing, so it will produce 50 units. If it thinks firm 2 will produce 50 units, so it will produce 50 units. But if it anticipate that firm 2 will produce 75 units, so it will produce 12.5 units. And lastly, if it thinks that the firm 2 produce 100 units, so it will produce nothing. Firm 1 output that maximize profits based on decreasing shadows of how much it thinks or expected that firm 2 will produce. The equilibrium output levels show at the intersections of two reaction curve of the firms. When reaction curve from 1 intersect with reaction curve from 2, so we can get cournot equilibrium. Second is stackable model. Stackable model contributed by Freiherr von Stackable, who is a German economist. This model is extensions of cournot model. The firms choose their output sequentially and not simultaneously. This model is the strategic game where there are just two firms in industry, which is a followers and a leader. The leader is typically a first mover who choose its outputs before other firms can do it to make a quantity choice. The leader solve the followers profits maximization problem in order to set what output will produce or the followers reaction functions. This diagram show first mover advantage and stackable equilibrium. Assume that x-axis is productions of firm 1, y-axis is productions of firm 2. This diagram shows the firms 1 act to move first in setting an output and being a leader, while the firm 2 is as a follower. The leader will expand its output relative to the cournot equilibrium at the expense of reductions in the output of the follower. Firm 1 will maximize its profit by producing output 150 units, which be larger than cournot equilibrium, which is 100 units. The leader, which is firm 1, choose to produce more output. It will under equilibrium, this cournot equilibrium, and this one is stackable equilibrium, while the follower produce less. At point E is show a stackable equilibrium.
In my part, application in real what cournot versus stackelberg. For the cournot, here we have a graph. This graph shows to maximize output profitable. Oppo FIM1. FIM1 depends on how much output in FIVO, and FIM2 will produce. Oppo thinks in FIVO will not produce output on the market curve. Output D on the output D 0 on the market curve. The marginal revenue curve. Okay, with interest with the marginal cost at the output of 50 units. Oppo thinks FIVO produce output of 50 units of price D 50. Market curve shifted leftward by an amount equal to FIVO output of 50. Maximum output when output is 25 units. Next, Oppo expects FIVO to produce 75 units of output, while Oppo will produce 12.5 units. So if Oppo thinks FIVO produce 100 units of output, then Oppo will not produce any output. Second one, stackelberg. Then here we have the graph of stackelberg. Then at the stackelberg equilibrium is at the point C, while for cournot is at P. The X exists is quantity 1 Oppo output units per year, while Y exists is quantity 2 FIVO output units per year. In the line R, FIVO is downward sloping function reaction FIVO. In stackelberg, Oppo will select points on in FIVO response function that will maximize profit. It was point C at RAM 864 at a market price of RAM 28 per unit. For stackelberg, Oppo is a leader who will produce more output than his follower in FIVO. In the figure above can be seen 2 times more Oppo output than in FIVO, although the market price for stackelberg at point C is much lower than cournot at point P. But stackelberg revenue RAM 864 is higher than cournot RAM 832. Indicates that Oppo has the advantage of choosing output than FIVO. This is because Oppo will produce output to maximize profit. Thank you.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Nurhayati binti Rizal. My metric number is 264051. Now, it's my turn to explain about the problems regarding this topic, oligopoly, cournot versus stackelberg. Okay, so here is the question for the cournot oligopoly. The question is, Halim supermarket competes with Mukrimat. The local demand is given by P equal to 2.50 minus 0.01 Q. Halim marginal cost is 0.35, while Mukri's marginal cost is equal to 0.30. The question is asked about action of Halim and Mukri, and the second question is what is the equilibrium price and the quantity for this firm. The first question is, what is the direction function of Halim and Mukri? The first step to do this question is we list down the market demand function, and which is 2.50 minus 0.02 is Q1 plus Q2, and we list down also the MC for Mukri and for Halim. First, let Halim equal to Q1. we need to find the total revenue first. Total revenue formula is P times Q1, and then we will get the answer, which is 2.50 Q1 minus 0.01 Q1 squared minus 0.01 Q1 and Q2. Let's change the TR into the MR, which is marginal revenue, and the formula for marginal revenue is TR equal to quantity, and you will get the answer 2.50 minus 0.02 Q1 minus 0.01 Q squared, Q2. Next, we will find the profit. So the profit formula is marginal revenue equal to marginal cost. List down all the answer that you get here into here, and for the MC is given from the question, which is 0.35 for Halim, and solve the function, and you will get Q1 equal to 107.5 minus half Q2, and from this you will get Halim reaction function is Q1 equal 107.5 minus 1 over 2 Q2. Okay, next we need to find for Mukri's reaction function. The step is the same as Halim just now, which is first we need to find for the total revenue, which is P times Q2, and we will get the answer 2.50 Q2 minus 0.01 Q1 Q2 minus 0.01 Q2 squared. Next, change the TR into MR, which is marginal revenue, and we will get 2.50 minus 0.02 Q squared minus 0.01 Q1. Next step is we need to find for the profit. The profit formula is equal to MR equal to MC. Settle the formula, and we will get Q2 equal to 110 minus half Q1. Therefore, we will find Mukri's reaction function is Q2 equal to 110 minus half Q1.
Okay, let's continue with the second question, which is what is the equilibrium price and the quantity. First, from this equation, from this function, this and this, you need to list down in order to find the equilibrium. Let Halim Q1 equal to 1, Q2 equal to 2. Substitute 2 into 1, and you will get 70, and substitute 70 into 2, you will get 75. Simplify it, and you will get Q equal to 145 and P equal to 1.05. Thus, these two is the price equilibrium and quantity equilibrium. Now let's continue with Stackelberg oligopoly. The question is, consider a Stackelberg game between two firms, which is firm 1 and firm 2. The given inverse demand is equal to P equal to 1000 minus 4Q. Each firm has a similar marginal cost, which is equal to 20. The question is asked about the equilibrium price and quantity. Stackelberg is using backward induction, which means firm 1 will move first and firm 2 will respond to firm 1 action. This means we need to find for the best response for firm 2 first in order to create a new demand curve for function 1, for firm 1, and then we can get the quantity and price equilibrium for both firms. Okay, for the first step to find the equilibrium price and quantity is we need to find the best response of firm 2. Why is it we use firm 2 first? Because in Stackable oligopoly, we are using backward induction. Okay, we need to list down the total revenue first, and then we find the marginal revenue. And with the answer of marginal revenue, you can get the profit, which is MR equal to MC, and you will get the best response for firm 2 is equal to 1 to 2.5 minus 1 over 2 Q1. Next, we move to the second step, which is find the new demand curve for firm 1. Stackable is different from cournot because cournot, the firm is simultaneous, but in Stackable there is a leader and also follower. In this case, firm 1 is the leader and firm 2 is the follower. So that's why we need to find for the firm 2 best response first in order to create the new demand curve for firm 1. Okay, first, we need to substitute Q2 equal to 1 to 2.5 minus half Q1 into the original demand function, which is 1000 minus 4 Q1 minus 4 Q2. Substitute this into this Q2. We will get 510 minus Q1. Then we move to the total revenue, which is P minus Q, and you will get 510 Q1 minus 2 Q1 squared. From this equation, you need to find the marginal revenue, which is total revenue minus over Q1, and you will get 510 minus 4 Q1. Just remove the square here. And then, as the formula is MR equal to MC, and you will get 1 to 2.5 for firm 1. After get the Q1 equal to, which is 1 to 2.5. The next step is substitute Q1, substitute this that we got just now into firm 2 best response function, which is Q2 equal to 1 to 2.5 minus half Q1. Substitute this into this and you will get 61.25. Next, find the equilibrium. The last step is find the equilibrium of price and the quantity for both firms. We need to use the quantity formula, which is Q1 plus Q2, and we need to substitute the Q1, which is 1 to 2.5, and Q2, 61.25, and we will get 183.75. Last, we need to find the equilibrium for price. Write down the original function from the question, which is 1000 minus 4Q, and substitute the Q 183.75 into this function, and you will get 265. So this is the equilibrium quantity, and this is the equilibrium price, which is Q equal to 183.75, P equal to 265. That's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and hi, I'm Aini. So I will present a conclusion. First, oligopoly. An oligopoly in a market formed with limited competition in which a few producers control the majority of the market share and typically produces similar or homogeneous product. Due to the small of firm and lack of competition, this market structure often allows for partnership and collusions. And then there are three model oligopoly strategy such as cournot, veteran and stackelberg. So our group will given the topic cournot oligopoly versus stackelberg. So I will conclude the cournot first. The cournot model explains how oligopoly firms behave if they simultaneously choose how much they produce. The cournot model of oligopoly applies where first, firm produce homogeneous product. Second, they compete simultaneously output and market share. And the third, they expect their rival to not change their output in response to any change that they make. A stackelberg oligopoly is a one in which one firm is a leader and other firm is a followers. This model applies where the first the firm sell homogeneous product. Second, competition is based on output. Third, firm choose their output sequentially and not simultaneously. So the leader is typically a first mover who choose its output before other firm can do it. And since other firm must set their output decision given the leader output decision, the leader in a stackable oligopoly typically has a bigger market share and higher profit than other firm in the oligopoly. In this case, we use Oppo as a firm 1 and Vivo as a firm 2. In this diagram, we can see initial MC equal to MR, as axis is quantity of firm 1, y axis is price of firm 1. To maximize output profitability, firm 1 depends on how much output firm 2 will produce. First, firm 1 thinks firm 2 will not produce output at the point D0 on the market curve. MR curve 0, MR intersect with the MC at the output of 50 units. Firm 1 also thinks firm 2 will produce output of 50 units and firm 1 will produce 25 units. Firm 1 also expects firm 2 will produce output 75 units and firm 1 will produce output of 12.5 units. Then firm 1 thinks firm 2 will produce output of 100 units and firm 1 will not produce anything. Next, In stackable model, we also use the same product. The important is a firm 1 as a leader and firm 2 as a follower. First, you can see table of stackable or point on firm 2 Vivo reaction function. Only one point of firm 1 profit is very higher compared to the other point. This is a point C means equilibrium of Stackberg. From the table also, you can see cournot equilibrium at point B. In this diagram, you can see 2 times more firm 1 produce output than firm 2. But you can see a market price for point C 28 ringgit per unit is lower than point B 36 ringgit per unit. The price of point B very expensive. So that's why firm 1 as a leader have advantage against the higher profit.